This is our first episode of our Campfire reviews. We're going to be talking a little bit about some of the places we went, some of the things we did, our likes and our dislikes on that. So first up was our trip to Amarillo. There we did things a little bit different. We didn't hit the Paladora Canyon, those big attractions. We went to smaller scale. So first up we want to review would be our Cadillac Stonehenge. My first impressions, not really my, maybe I'm not the demographic for that place. It was cool in a kind of offbeat way. If you like to spray paint and look at old cars stuck in the ground, that's your deal. Other than that, maybe not for me. I would probably skip it next time. Lisa, what did you think?
Well, I totally agree. It was not all that great. I was expecting that it was going to be artistic. Like I didn't realize that everybody is able to get a can of spray paint and just spray paint over what everybody else has already spray painted over. I thought that it was going to be like artistic and the artist had actually done something, but it was just kind of garbage. And yeah, I didn't really like it all that much.
Was there anything you did like?
Well, I mean, I liked that it was a site that we, wanted to see, and we've got it checked off our list. Now you know what it's like. That's
okay, very good. Next up on our tour there was the Big Texan Steakhouse.
Oh, the Big Texan Steakhouse. Okay, so my take on the Big Texan Steakhouse was, we had actually gone, I wanted steak, so we went to another steakhouse and waited for a while and got in and had dinner. It was okay. And then we went to the Big Texan just, for the tourist attraction thing, And we thought we should have actually had dinner there. That would have been a lot better idea. The steaks look great. Fantastic atmosphere. It was a lot of fun to just, kind of go around. They have limousines that go pick up people. They've got little go-karts that, they go, because people are parking out in, a mile away, to be able to get in. So we just went in there and got, some touristy things at the gift shop. But it smelled great, and I wish we would have eaten there, actually.
Okay, what was your take, Bo?
Well, for me, kind of the same. What's not to like? Big, good. Texan, good. Steak, good. House, good. All kidding aside, it looked like a really fun place to spend the evening. Very tourist trappy. Love that kind of vibe that it gave off. Would definitely go there to eat next time. You saw the video. I didn't really, confession time, didn't really eat the 72-ounce steak. Didn't even eat there, as Lisa mentioned. But we definitely will the next time. But I will not attempt a 72-ounce steak. Too much for me.
Yeah.
Cool place though.
Okay, so what about the campground?
Fort Amarillo Campground. You know what? We've stayed in Amarillo several times at several different campgrounds. This is really probably my favorite one. There's a lot to like about this place. They got really long spaces, so it's easy to get your rig in and out. Their grounds are very well kept. Nice dog park. Hate to like that. Nice place to go. Big space for him to run and play in. There's some things I didn't like. Like most parks, there's some full-timers there as well, so it's a mix of overnighters and full-timers. Some of the park is maybe showing its age a little bit and could use some repair, but overall for me, definitely a place I would stay again. What were your takes, Lisa?
Well, okay, I liked it a lot. They have a great gift shop, and it's very extensive, so great shopping there. Really cute atmosphere. Everything was neat and tidy, and what I really liked was the really cool park in the middle, of the campground. Had water features and kind of rolling hills, and it was just a really lovely, quiet place. I actually think we showed some of that that night. So I liked it. I liked it a lot. It was quiet. Now, the spaces were very tight, but there was little walls in between each site, so that was kind of neat. and everybody got a little place to sit. And the funny part was, it's Amarillo, so it's West Texas, but they had a little patch of grass at each little place. I thought that was kind of cute.
Very good.
Okay, Bo. What about the drive from Amarillo to here at Colorado Springs?
Well, if you saw our video from that, it's a long drive. Not a lot in between. The scenery is nice. One of the things we should have done that we didn't do this time is we should take notes and give some reviews on what gas stations to stop at and which ones not to. And I'm talking in terms of restroom cleanliness and availability. For us, that's always a big deal. So we'll try to do that next time. The trip was great. Other than that, scenery is all pretty much the same. So once you go out of Amarillo until you get to Raton Pass, it's pretty much looking at the same thing. So book on tape, always a good thing.
Okay, Lisa, what did you think about the drive and the first impressions of the Garden of the Gods RV Resort Campground?
Well, the drive was fairly uneventful, like you said. But I do want to comment on, he mentioned that we did listen to books. So every time that Bo and I travel, we download an Audible book. And usually we get through 2, sometimes 3 books in a trip. We love that. That is so much fun. We usually try to do mysteries or something like that, and we're trying to figure them out along the way. And we have actually been known to get to the campsite or get home, our destination, and we're not finished, with the book, and so we'll sit in the car until it's over. That's kind of fun. All right, so here we are at Garden of the Gods RV Resort. It's actually right outside of Manitou Springs, a little bit outside of Colorado Springs. Love this little campground. This campground is so cute. There are kids everywhere. Bo and I love to see young families bringing their kids out and getting involved in the camping atmosphere. Today we were driving in, and there was probably, 5 or 6 little boys. None of them were probably over the age of 8, and there was mud puddles because it had rained. They were driving their bikes through the mud puddles. It was so hilarious. But they're all free range kids, and they're just all over the place. It's a lot of fun. The sites are nice and tidy, and we're pretty far away from noise. There's a little bit of noise, but not too much. I like it. I like it a lot. What about you, Bo? What do you think?
Yeah, for me, pretty much the same. The campsites are large. Some could use a little more room for parking, so sometimes a little difficult to find a place to park your vehicle. It's a very nice, well laid out to take advantage of all the space within the park. Staff here is very friendly, very helpful. Takes you to your site, make sure you can get your rig in. Those kind of things, always very helpful. The downside, it's a park that's been around for a while. I mean, that's part of its charm. Also, it's showing its age in some areas and could use maybe some touch-ups, but overall, been a great stay for us here in Manitou Springs.
Okay, Bo, talking about Manitou Springs, what did you think about the Manitou Springs Historic District?
Well, first of all, as you saw from the video, our first impression was kind of a bust. We went down and walked through the sign that says Manitou Springs Historic District, and that really just led us down in front of a bunch of Route 66, 50, 60 style motels. That, however, was not the right place. The next day, or later that afternoon, actually, we found the real Manitou Springs, and that place is really vibrant, really well restored, old historic district with lots of shops, lots of restaurants, lots of bars, lots of people. A really cool place to visit and hang out. Lisa, what were your takes on it?
I completely agree. So yeah, we were very disappointed, and lots of people had told us to go to Manitou Springs. Desserts. So I'm gonna need to move that, Hayden. Anyway, we had gone down there, and like Bo said, all very 1950s, 60s rundown motels. But when we got down to the other part, further on down, lots of charm. We actually ate there last night and tonight. So we ate at a place called The Loop. That was last night, and it was Mexican food, but it was more, you know, like really interior Mexican food. Really very, very good. And then tonight we ate at a burger place. Do you remember the name of it, Bo?
Best
It's
burger.
supposed to be the best burger in town, and it was good. It was very good. We had just a really lovely evening walking around and enjoyed the whole atmosphere.
Old Colorado City. When we couldn't find Manitou Springs Historic District, we drove down there
Yes.
and took a look. What did you think about it?
Okay, so you guys saw on our one video where I asked Bo, you know, what he thought about that sign that said more shops, and he said that just means time to go home. There were a lot of shops there, but very clearly this is a woman's domain, because all the shops were very cute and historic. Not a lot of t-shirt things and all that kind of thing. Lots and lots of art things and all that. It would be a really lovely afternoon to explore. I'm not sure Bo felt the same about that though.
All right, Bo, what was your take on that
Old Colorado
section?
City. Definitely a place for the women to go, and the men maybe to stay behind and do something different. Find a river to fly fish in or something else. Unless you enjoy looking at shops. I got tired just looking at all the shops, much less going in all the shops. So that was really my take. Not my cup of tea, but the women I know would love it. So that's it.
Okay, so next up on our review was our trip out to the Manitou cliff dwelling ruins. What did you think about that?
That was super cool. Super cool. I don't think you guys could hear on the video that we did, but they have that flute music, you know, playing all the way through, so everything's very quiet. I mean, there's tons of people there, but it's very mystic, and honestly, it was super cool. Like, breeze is blowing and stuff inside of there. I can understand, you know, like there was actual where they placed the windows so the breeze would actually come through. It was very, very cool in there, and all the little tunnels and everything. 4 families lived in that dwelling, so it was very impressive. I liked it a lot. What about you, Bo? What did you think about it?
I agree. I remember this from my childhood vacation trips up here. Was always one of my favorite stops, and even as an adult, still one of my favorite places. So really, like you said, cool experience to go in, walk around, see how they put those things together, how they lived. A really cool place. Would highly recommend it. It's not an expensive trip. Fun for a way to spend a couple of hours in the morning before you do something else. Good trip.
Okay, next up on our review is the very famous Santa's Workshop. What did you think about that?
Well, if you saw the video, you'll know we don't really have a review of Santa's Workshop because it is closed on Tuesday and Wednesdays. And what day did we decide to go on? Of course, on Wednesday. So missed that. So maybe next time we'll have a review on Santa's Workshop.
Okay.
Well, the first thing that I want to remind everyone is that when you come to the mountains, and I should have known better, okay? But when you come to the mountains, it's all about wearing layers. Always have a jacket with you. Always have, you know, those long pants that actually zip out into shorts are perfect, because literally in the afternoon you'll be hot or a cold front will come through. That's what happened to us. So as we got up into the, you know, higher up into the elevations, it got super cold. And so I was not like Bo. I did not gut it out, and I had to go buy myself a new jacket. It's a great jacket, but that's one thing I would recommend. I thought the scenery was absolutely gorgeous. The road was very, very windy. So this is not a road that you would want to travel on if you're not super confident in your driving ability, because there are some really tight switchbacks. Although I will say, we have been on roads that have tighter switchbacks than that, because at least we didn't have to stop and back up. We were able to get around each corner. And then I thought it was really ingenious. The reason that you can't drive to the top is because there's huge construction going on right now, and they're building a new building out there. observation decks and stuff like that. So there's tons and tons and tons of workers there. But instead of, you know, cutting it off to the public, they provided buses. I thought that was really great. And on both of our bus rides, the bus drivers were full of information, little trivia things about the mountain and about the process of building and just all kinds of things. And then really fun thing was that we got to see mountain goats on our way down. That was kind of cool. So I loved it. I thought Pikes Peak was really, really good.
Okay.
Okay, so today we went to Royal Gorge. So what was your review of that part of the trip?
Good. I thought at first the entry fee was a little steep, but once we got inside the park, first of all, the bridge, amazing. I mean, it was totally worth it for just being able to walk across the bridge. So if you've never done it before, worth the cost of the entry fee to get out there and see the views from the bridge down the gorge. Absolutely spectacular, worth every penny. There's also a ton of other things to do there. There's a place for the kids, a carousel, there's a playground, there's a theater where they show movies, and they have like, today we were there was a bird show, totally awesome, birds of prey, totally cool time. There's rides, there's a zip line you can do, a gondola ride that you can do. There's tons and tons and tons of stuff to do. You could literally spend a day there. So for the cost of admission, you take advantage of everything that's there. Great value for your money.
Okay, and okay, now that we have reviewed everything we've done on this trip, is there anything that you would have done differently here on this trip so far?
Yeah, there's a couple of things that we wanted to do that we just really ran out of time. One of them is Cave of the Winds. The other one is the Cog Railroad. That's a cog railroad train that actually pulls you up to the top of Pikes Peak. Tried to do that. Tickets weren't available. We waited too late to try to make reservations. So if you're going to do that, plan ahead. Get your reservations to do that. There's also a train ride that you can go through the Royal Gorge on. Another thing we wanted to do, again, we didn't plan well enough ahead, and so we didn't get tickets to do that. But that's the thing that just looked phenomenal. It would be spectacular. We, kind of saw where the track was from the top of the bridge and thought, man, that was a huge miss on our part. So plan ahead, look at the things that there are to do, and take advantage of them. On our trip to the Royal Gorge, you do have to kind of be aware of weather. We were waiting in line to get on the gondola, and lightning, thunderstorm kind of come up. There was lightning in the area, so we were literally on the deck waiting to get in the car. Lightning came up, they had to clear it, we had to go on. So weather can impact your plans a little bit. Lisa, did weather impact anything else for you while you were there?
Yes. This was a big disappointment. So when we first got there, you can do a zip line all the way across the Royal Gorge. And so we talked about it when we first arrived. Hey, you think we should do that? And both of us were like, oh, I don't know. That is a long way across there. But then when you got up there and you watched the people coming across, it looked like a lot of fun. So when we got off of the gondola ride, we decided we were going to buy some tickets. And we were literally the last ones in line in a great big huge storm. It was that same storm that earlier we had to wait for the lightning, but the winds were just too high. So we waited for about maybe 45 minutes, and they didn't die down, and we had to come back to the trailer, so we didn't get to do that. And also a big miss is that if we would have just paid attention, we could have gotten to go to Santa's Workshop. We just didn't call ahead. So lesson learned. Kind of call ahead and make reservations for those big touristy things, because a lot of people, want to go and do that. So what are you thinking, Bo, so far on this leg of the trip?
Well, for me so far, this trip's been a big hit. Yeah, there's some things we didn't get to do, but overall, the things we have done have been excellent, been more fun. than I could ever imagine. It does take me back to my childhood. This was a big vacation destination for my family, and to be able to come back here and do some of the same things I did as a kid really took me back. Loved every minute of it. Tomorrow we're packing up and we're heading up to Estes Park, another one of my favorite spots in the world. So we'll be reporting, and we'll have another one of these review sessions at the end of next week too. So stay tuned, stick around, and we'll keep you up to date on what's hot and what's not.